we're always students. We are. Y- and I don't think we should ever stop. None of us should stop being students, whether you're good or bad at it. Like I am not good at it. when you're, we never stop learning. What does it mean to be a student? That's a big question.
It is a big question, but you're right. Is that it is? I like to say we are forever students, right? We're always
Forever
forever learning.
students.
And if you look in the past of the true masters of any craft, they'll say the same thing: is that they will still, like, literally till the end, they will continue to learn their craft. Even the ones that are at the very top, and the reason why they are at the top is because of the fact that they're constantly learning and trying different things, and being more fascinated by their craft and trying to improve anywhere that they possibly can. And I think that's always important to always go back to, is that even after traditional
Mm-hmm.
schooling, is that you should always be on the lookout for learning on how to improve upon what you are passionate about.
You're listening to Creatives Prevail, unraveling the stories of creative professionals.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Creatives Prevail. I'm your host, Mike Zimmerlich, and my next guest is teacher, musician, and artist Jaclyn Dima. In this interview, we discuss the importance of continuously learning about your craft and the benefits of teaching others. We also talk about her latest single, I Won't Dance for You. Let's get into it. Hey, Jaclyn, how are you?
Hi, good, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for asking. Before we start, I did want to do a quick shout out to your publicist, Danny Feltz. Shout out to Danny. She has sent over to us a number of wonderful guests, and I'm so excited to have you. And she also was a recent guest on the podcast as well. So, but I do wanted to give a quick shout out over to her before
Yes,
we got
shout out to
started.
Danny Felt. Yes, the amazing Danny
Yes.
Felt.
So we're going to talk about you, of course, and I do want to start off with this question, which is, what does being a student mean to you?
What does being a student mean to me? That is a loaded question because I teach also, as most musicians, well, I shouldn't say most, many musicians teach also. Being a student, and it's funny too, because I was a terrible student. I was a terrible, terrible student growing up.
Really?
Yeah.
Just in elementary school, or also in college as well?
Yeah, school just wasn't my thing. But it's funny though, because as it was probably just because I don't like to be told what to do. I'm sure it had to do with that, because when you study the things you want to study, then you like thrive. So, what does it mean to be a student? That's so hard to answer, because I also think of things in such terms of being a teacher too, and the impact that I have on the kids, and when the parents come to me and they're like, you've gotten my kid into music and blah 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 and things like that. So meaning to be a student, we're always students. We are. I don't think we should ever stop. None of us should stop being students, whether you're good or bad at it. Like I am not good at it. when you're we never stop learning. What does it mean to be a student? That's a big question.
It is a big question, but you're right. Is that it is? I like to say we are forever students, right? We're always
Forever
forever learning.
students.
And if you look in the past of the true masters of any craft, they'll say the same thing: is that they will still, like, literally till the end, they will continue to learn their craft. Even the ones that are at the very top, and the reason why they are at the top is because of the fact that they're constantly learning and trying different things, and being more fascinated by their craft and trying to improve anywhere that they possibly can. And I think that's always important to always go back to, is that even after traditional
Mm-hmm.
schooling, is that you should always be on the lookout for learning on how to improve upon what you are passionate about.
Yeah, and you know what I think is interesting in those terms too is like when you're going through, especially as a musician. I mean, that's what I know. I'm a musician. I'm sure many arts and probably any industry you're in, there's so many ways of being the thing that you are a student of. Just last night, I was practicing some songs, and I've been through so many different genres in my musical career. And last night, I was playing, if you know or remember the song "Uninvited" by Alanis Morissette. And I'm just playing through it, and remembering in the 90s being like, man, this song is just crazy. Has anyone written a song like this ever? And has anyone done it since? And just playing it last night, same exact question. I was like, has anyone done this since? Did anyone do it before? And I was a classical major. I was trying to think back into classical music. Like, did anyone? And of course, my husband's like, that would be a great question for AI. I was like, actually, it probably wouldn't be because AI doesn't answer questions like that very well.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's very, very true. So, of course, it sounds like that music has always been very important to you. And so, did you grow up with music in your household, or, was that something that you discovered later on in life?
yeah. So mom's a musician. Mom is she's a retired choir director. That'll get in your mouth. Say it 3 times fast. Retired choir director. So she would take her students at the high school level to all these competitions and stuff. I would go to all the competitions growing up. And that was so much fun because, like, the girls in the sparkles, and the choreography, it was so much fun. And my mom was very jazz based. So a lot of her repertoire that she would bring into the choirs and stuff too was very jazz based. My granddad, my mom's dad, was a pianist as well, and he was really into the um, not ragtime, more of the stride piano, that kind of stuff, 30s and 40s. That kind of music was really big in my life, and then musicals, um, classical a bit, but it was really more like the jazz standards, the the crooners and that kind of stuff. So that's what I grew up with big time in the house.
Yeah, it's interesting because my aunt and uncle were both band teachers, so I can relate to that. Where it was always so much fun, and I feel that definitely helped me guide my direction because I was a total band nerd growing up. Like I played the trumpet, and so I was in the marching band and jazz band, and you
Mm-hmm.
know, was it or the orchestra, the ensembles, like all those things, right?
Yep.
So I do remember, especially when I was a part of some of the different um different orchestras and bands that were even outside of school, for example, that my aunt and uncle both taught, were both conductors for. It was like something I felt very proud of. That was a part of essentially the legacy of my
Yeah.
family was in music, and so I was something that I was always very proud of, and I feel definitely directed me all throughout my life in being involved in music in some way, as well as being a teacher. It was, I think, another big aspect of it as well, is that I knew
Yeah.
from a very early age that I've always wanted to be a teacher.
For sure. Yeah. And that is an interesting thing too when you're watching the teachers and you're like, "Wow, I want to do that. That's cool." Like there's so much strength in that. I same thing with my mom cuz she was, the choir director and she'd wear sparkly dresses and her stilettos. She was like so cool. I mean, she still is, but like, when you're watching something that like majestic, it's like, "Whoa."
So did you know earlier on that you want to have teaching as part of your life
Yeah, it was
because of your mom?
Yeah, it was interesting when when you're young and they're trying to like make you make a decision when you're 15 years old. What do you want to be when you grow up? You have to make these decisions and what college you want to go to right now. So when I was 15 and had to make those decisions, like, because we know what we want to do when we're 15,
Of course,
but of
absolutely.
course. So that was the direction I was actually headed for a while. Was I was like, yeah, I want to go into music education specifically. And then somewhere down the road, I don't remember what happened, but I had this massive switch and I was like, yeah, no, I think I should probably stick to performance because I shouldn't be in charge of teaching people. So I went through one of those things. So I ended up actually majoring in performance instead because I don't know. It's weird. There was almost like a stage fright ish thing to it. Or like maybe imposter syndrome. Like, oh, I shouldn't be in charge of teaching these things. It's too important. I'll screw up. What if the next Mozart is in there and I screw it up? So I stuck with
I
performing.
I can understand that. It's interesting because you mentioned that you're not you felt that you were not a great student, but you still went on and went to major in vocal performance at, afterwards.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, yeah, I majored in vocal performance afterwards, and I focused in on opera and stuff like that. And I was fine in the like being a student. No, I was still a bad boy student. I was just a really bad student. You just made all these memories come in. Like I remember my teacher saying like I need more work out of you one time. Um, yeah, but I mean it was really like music history, music theory. I would just like well, theory was fine. It was really music history. I couldn't get. I had to take it like 4 times. I couldn't. I don't retain, and then you grow up and you learn that you were undiagnosed ADHD this whole time, and it's like, oh well, you know, that would have been nice to know 30 years ago. You know?
Yeah, exactly. It's you don't know. Everyone learns differently, and
Exactly.
sometimes that works in a more structured environment, such as a classroom, and sometimes it doesn't. I know for
Yeah.
myself, I'm kind of like in that middle area where I wasn't a terrible student, but I was, a decent enough student. But for me, it was I learned the best from a practical standpoint. I want to try things out, see what works, what doesn't work. I like to say that I like to joke that I like to do things the hard way because the hard way is the way I learn. And that
Yeah.
I'll do it knowing full well this probably will fail or whatever the case is. And then it will fail spectacularly. But I went, okay, but at least I did it that way. I know that doesn't work and the reasons why it doesn't work. And I can now be better for it. So
Yeah.
everyone's different, right? Some people are
Yeah.
they don't like that. They want to be more analytical, or they want to, they need to be guided through that entire learning process, and not necessarily, and they won't do that on their own. They need that help. And that's great too, right? It's important, but it's important to understand that everyone has different ways that they learn.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And that brings me I'm sure that we'll get to all these things too from what you said before, but something I find interesting in all that and how I've learned through the years how I process things. Um, now that again, we'll get to this, but I teach early childhood music. So I go to the daycares and the preschools and I work with the youngest people. And I do these music classes, which are more performative than anything. Like we're singing and dancing, right? But I'll tell you what I notice the most, and like I love them all. They're great. Like you can't really get annoyed at anybody at that age. Like they're just awesome. It's just a great age group. The ones who are either like on the spectrum or, ADHD, all those things, when it comes to music, I find have the biggest impact, the most growth. Like I'm like, those are the ones like I can tell that come to me, my child. Let's sing and dance. It's just there's something I don't know about the way that kind of brain works, and especially with how I work with them, and it's a lot of fun, and I see a lot of growth with that. So yeah, we're all
Have you
different.
found have you found that teaching at that level, and then also being aware that the different needs that your students have that made you more aware of just people in general, including now adults, that, oh, I can see the behaviors now and how I can handle communication with them better?
Teaching, I'm not sure what would happen if I taught like high school age or whatever. I fell into early childhood because I was looking for a job and I got a job. I certainly have the personality that gravitates towards young children. So I got the job, hey. And I got very like addicted to the work for years. And still, like, I love doing early childhood music. It's like, it's infectious. It's awesome. And yeah, early on, and when I started getting good at it, because I wasn't good at it at first, I really wasn't good at it. But when I started getting good at it, it started making everything easier almost. Like, I was bartending before um, teaching early childhood, and I used to get really frustrated with drunk people, super frustrated. And then, like, just a few months into doing this work, I started getting like really sympathetic to the drunk people, and people I was working with would be like, Whoa, Jaclyn, you just okay, sure. This must be the new job. I don't know, but it was totally changed me. It changed my performances. And yes, I bring bubbles to grown-up shows. Yes, I do.
Yes, that's
I mean,
awesome.
why not? Like it's it, I'm sorry, but the things that you bring to the kids shows are grown-ups like this stuff too, man. Like
Oh yeah, absolutely. We all saw that was the inner child, if you will, but we all still love. Hey, I still love Bubbles even today.
even today. And listen, that might
Even
be our
today.
generation, like the millennials, like are we ever going to grow up? Probably not, but hey, here we are.
You have to appreciate those things in life, right? Sometimes you just need Bubbles.
Sometimes you just need bubbles. I gotta write that down. That's the next song. Sometimes you just need
There you go.
bubbles.
So you just need Bubbles. Yep, that's a good one. So, so I did want to talk about then post college. So you come out of college, right? And you at some point you moved to New York City. So
hmm
obviously you were focusing on performance at this point in your life. So New York City is a pretty obvious choice, but why specifically? Because you have Nashville, you have Los Angeles, you have Atlanta,
Yeah.
right? There's so many music hubs in the country. Why New York specifically?
That's such a good question because I do remember at that time when I was graduating. Well, okay, so I went to Indiana University and it was a big music school, a big theater school. So basically, everyone I was around, um, you know, as we were getting ready to go off to adulthood, everybody was sort of making those decisions, and really the big decisions were New York or LA. There wasn't really much in between, at least that I heard of. But I remember because I thought about it for a long time before making the decision, and it was a hard decision to make. And I went out to LA a few times, and I felt weird out there. I can't explain it. I just felt strange, and still to this day, when I go out there, I feel strange. Now I love California. That's the thing. I love it. It's just this weird, like, I don't know if it's like the ocean's on the wrong side of my body. I don't know what it is. It's just this. Well, my best friend who's lived out here her whole life, she actually said that one time. She was like, "Yeah, the ocean's on the wrong side. I can't stay there for too long." I'm like, "Okay, well, that makes sense for you, but I'm from Ohio, so um, I think ultimately it was that a little bit, and also there was a big part of me that even though I knew internally and in my heart I had made like a real decision that like I'm gonna try the singer songwriter thing and all that, there was a part of me that was like, but I might want to audition. I'm not ready to give up on that yet. I may want to audition. So I came out here and I packed up my songbooks and my audition books and I hit I think two auditions and I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm done. But all my
At least
stuff
you tried.
at least I
The
tried.
fact that you tried, exactly. That's the point. Is at least you tried and found out. Okay, this is not for
This
me,
is not for
right?
me. And I found my community. I started going to these open mics. Cafe Vivaldi, this was back in the day, like 2008 era. Cafe Vivaldi and the Baggett Inn and those kinds of places in the village. And I found my people. Like I found my community and it just kind of stuck. And I still see those people not often, but I see that. Well, actually, my best friend, Tracy Thorne, actually lives just a couple blocks down. So just we're still all here. I still see a bunch of them all the time, and that was a big community builder. Those things are important when you're so young and scared. So
Did that help you then get to your projects? As you go out to New York, you finding what you're liking and what you're not liking, what's working for you. You found your people. Did that help lead you into projects, or did you get projects in a particular in a different way?
oh, I'm trying to think. I no, they were not related at all.
Really?
Yeah, what happened there? Um, I would look on Craigslist. Again, this is back in like the '08 era. I'd
Yes,
look on
very much Craigslist,
Craigslist.
which still happens today. I've talked to people; they still use
Really?
Craigslist for doing things. I know, right? It's still
Huh?
kicking.
I mean,
It's
okay,
crazy.
because I try like the Facebook groups, but like those are stressful too. I don't know. It's
It's true.
how do you build things anymore? I don't know. Like everything, you just gotta like walk out on the sidewalk, hold up a sign, and be like, "Hey, everyone, I'm looking for a bass player." I don't even know anymore.
You
So
know, if you're in New York City, that probably won't be that hard to do. You can probably do that and find somebody in 10 minutes.
I'll I'll give it a try and I'll get back to you.
Yeah, please do.
But it's funny. It was my bass player first. What happened there? I was bartending and I met Charles when I was bartending. Charles ended up being still one of my best friends today. He was my bass player. I still bug him when I have shows coming up. Like he's got a lot going on. He's releasing songs now too, so he can't be bothered with my music right now. I'm just kidding, Charles. I love you, but I understand. So, but back then when I met Charles and we just kind of we started playing music together. He was working on jazz music, needed a vocalist. And then how did the funky stuff happen? Gosh, I don't remember how that all kind of evolved, but me and Charles ended up holding auditions. Or was it me and George? I don't know, but we ended up something got funky, and I think it was when a guitar player we brought in came in, and then it got pretty funky. It was short lived. We released an album together. Great, I love that album. It was a great album. It's called The Shaky Table Situation. Great, great album. I
Ooh, I
still
like
love
that
that.
name.
Yeah, it was a good one. That was like 2014 ish. Um, but yeah, we did that for a while. And it was kind of like this evolution of like, I didn't know what I was planning when I moved out here. But the evolution of everything kept happening. And then when that band got together, I mean, I was like in it to win it, you know? And I was like, oh, we're doing this. Then my now husband came into play and he played with us for a while. It just kind of, I was just living my life out in New York City and now I'm just a New Yorker. It just happened. I don't know. Now I'm here.
Yeah, that makes sense. And a lot of times it does ebb and flow, right? Like that, right? Is that
Yeah.
you met a musician in this way, that musician knows other musicians, right? And then both connect you with these, and that gives you those kind of opportunities. But it only happens because you took a shot and went on to Craigslist to try to find somebody. And
Yep.
I think that's the important thing, is that it's not going to come to you. You still have to go get out there. You still
Mm-hmm.
had to post on, that you're looking for somebody. You still had to go to the open mics, right? And
Yeah.
put yourself out there to connect with like-minded people. So you still took those initiatives to find the people that would ultimately want to work with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And it, it was a big old journey with, I mean, beginning, middle, and end. Like if I tried to write the story, it's very fragmented. Yeah. And I didn't realize it till you just said that. Again, you should be a therapist. Your job
This
is
is a
part
this is
therapy.
it is. This is what 18 years of artist management gets you, is very much part therapist. Let me tell you, that needs to be part of the job description. When you sign up to be an artist manager, therapist is like right
Part
underneath that.
therapist. And that's what
Part
yeah,
therapist.
that's what bartending was. It was part therapist and
Really, I
my
assume.
yeah, and my oh, definitely. And then well, probably like 80% therapist. And then my therapist told me that what I do for a living when I'm just playing music for the kids for these music classes, I have to go like this because it's like cuz we're singing and dancing. Yes, okay,
That's
it's teaching,
that
but
it's that's teaching.
I always
That's
say cuz
teaching.
maybe it's the imposter syndrome, but my therapist told me that I was a therapist in doing that. And I was like, "Uh, oh." And she's like, "Yeah, that's why you're tired all the time." I was like, "Oh."
Oh, is that why I'm tired too? No, that makes
Oh.
sense. Oh, yeah, it is interesting, right? Is because it can get mentally draining when you are being, was it? I would say empathetic if to other people's
Yes.
emotions, and
That's what she
so
yeah.
and it,
Mhm.
yeah, is that what she said?
Yeah, that's what she was saying cuz that's what we're doing
Yeah,
like the whole time and singing and dancing and jumping up and down and singing really loud and screaming at whoever's like to stop climbing the walls, like those kind of things. But also, like it's completely an emotional, like you are giving your entire self and receiving all of the emotions too. Like yeah, it's a lot. And I get, hey, listen, you see the images of like Taylor Swift on stage with like the millions of people and whatever. And anytime I see those images, I'm like, if I stood there for 2 seconds, I'd be exhausted. I would be so exhausted from that energy exchange. Like, no, I would need a nap after 2 seconds of standing on that stage. No, like, it just, wow.
It when I hear you talk about it, it sounds that you are very fulfilled in teaching. It's a very fulfilling thing to do.
Oh, it is. Teaching is fulfilling. You hear so many teachers say that in like any capacity, and I didn't realize what it was till I did it. Like, you hit burnout. You definitely hit burnout, but it's it is a very fun job. Early childhood, if you're a musician and if your personality is compatible, I highly recommend early childhood music because it is just, I laugh a lot. You know, it's a very joyous job.
So you built all so you started doing the singer songwriter work and started doing all these amazing projects, and then at some point you decided that you needed to step away for a while and go into teaching. Did What made you decide to come back? Because you're now going to be releasing new music, which we'll get to in a second. But what made you decide that you wanted to come back to it?
Yeah, I think it wasn't even that as much as it was like I sort of, when I got into the early childhood music, and I never stopped perform like the early childhood music. I go to my schools and stuff, but I do kids concerts, family concerts. You know, I do a lot of performing, parties, events, stuff like that, and I got really into it for so long, and I was writing kids music for so long. I kind of just forgot about adult music. I don't know how to really like I wrote a few songs, but it was funny cuz the songs that I was grown up songs I was writing were like I wrote a song about mermaids, and it's like, well, okay, I'm clearly you know. I mean, it was a like the sirens, like the killer mermaids, like it was like that, but it was still like mermaids. That's just my thing, but whatever, it doesn't matter. Um I think, yeah, I just got really into the genre. My light just went out.
I saw that. That's okay.
Oh, I
There you
hope
go.
it doesn't go out. Okay.
That's okay.
Um, yeah, I think I just got so into that and like writing songs about unicorns and stuff that I just kind of, I didn't really think about it. Just nothing came to me as far as like, oh, I'm gonna play this. And then, you know, I play some bars sometimes. And there are some bars I love to play, but many times I'd be like, you know, it just wasn't aligning. But then, well, okay. Well, okay, whatever. This is what we're doing. Then 2016 happened. The angst started. Everything started, and I kind of started writing grown-up music again because I couldn't help myself. So, you know, I'm writing about the injustices and the anti-patriarchy and the just all those things that it's just out. I think it's just out.
It's okay. You keep
Um,
going. Keep going.
lights out. So I think when it comes to like creating, anyways, you create because there's nothing else you can do. You have to. So specifically, when I wrote "I Won't Dance for You," um, I was just so pleased with it. I was so happy with this song, and I sent it to my best friend Sue, and she was like, "Oh my God, you did it!" And I was like, "I think I did it. I think I did it." And then I sent it to, but actually, it was my girlfriend Andy, whose husband is Jeff, who produced it. Jeff Littman produced it. Andy was like, "Jeff's gonna produce this song," and I was like, "No, Andy, no. I really I think I want to go in the direction of, because I was trying to get some like electronic stuff going. I really wanted to go out there, right out there." And she was like, "No, it's a rock song, and Jeff's gonna do it." I was like, "Okay, okay." So what was funny about that was when I took the song to Jeff, he was absolutely 1000% the person to do it because he's an 80s guy, and I did not know that this song was an 80s pop song. I did not know until Jeff got a hold of it, and that's what he turned it into. So now he just, I mean, Pandora's box. He just opened up this can of worms that now I'm specifically writing 80s music. so so again, with like how we get on these journeys that you don't know what's going to happen here, what's going to happen there. I didn't know Jeff was going to produce this song to sound like this, and then it would. Now I'm playing Heart every day. I'm like learning their entire repertoire, and I'm starting to write like that. Is what's happening now. So it just, the journey, it just keeps journeying. So I can't complain too much because I've always been someone who, as far as genre goes, I know none of us can stick with one genre. We all love our many genres, especially as a 90s kid. We were so lucky to have so much. Just, we had so much back then, and maybe that's what did it, but like, yeah. Yeah,
You can get away with it.
hit all the
You can get
genres.
away with that now.
Yeah,
You,
yeah.
you know, before, I would even say like maybe 10, 15 years ago, even, where you really wanted to pick a lane as far as what kind of genre you want to focus on. I think nowadays for artists, you can go in any direction and you can find an audience for it.
Yeah, and Mike, you know what you just made me realize? I'm telling you, man, you're like 80% that you just made me realize something. Back then, and you were asking like what made me take a break from all this and all those kinds of things. Back then, when I did release an album and I was pitching it, many a lot of the feedback I would get is it's too all over the place. There's too many genres within this one album. We can't work with this. We can't work with this. She needs to pick a lane. She needs to pick a lane. To which I would respond, I'm not going to pick a lane. I'm not going to pick a lane. I haven't picked a lane yet. What makes you think I'm going to pick a lane now? So so now it's like my life has just been like not picking lanes. And here we are, and now we're on 80s pop music. Hey.
You know, because I think, especially these days, it's more than just the genre. It's your the business side of me wants to say brand, but I'm gonna say persona,
Okay.
because it's about people connecting with you specifically as the artist.
Yeah. And I wonder if
and that
like social media might have done that a little bit to people. Like everything's so visual
100%.
now too. It's possible.
That and also because we have so much bleed over within genres that because if you think about it, right, I was actually having a conversation with somebody a while ago. What is the last genre that you can think of that was that like like an actual genre, like not a blend of things, but like a truly, it could be a segment of a bigger genre. But what was the last genre that you can think of that came out in the last, I don't know, 20 years or more?
I think about this a lot, Mike. This is something that keeps me up at night. What happened to adult contemporary as a genre?
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? Do we hear about adult
Oh yeah,
contemporary anymore? Where's adult contemporary? It's gone. Where is it? That was a thing.
I mean it exists, but I'm just like, but it's also very, it's not what we discuss, right? I mean, I
right.
think there's the defined genres that we all talk about, that there are some legacy acts or new acts, but that are very dedicated to, like, there are still like straight up new ska bands, right? Like that's still the
Right.
thing, right? But also those are genres that have been developed over the years. And I was just
Right.
thinking to myself, what was the and to me, like, and if anybody can tell me a new genre outside of this, let me know. But the last one I could think of was dubstep back in like the early 2010s.
I think
That was the
you're
last
right.
like defined genre
Yeah.
that was like a specific unique style to it that came out. I can't think of any like that since then. I mean,
I
you
think
have some
you're
that became more
right.
popular, like shoegaze and things like that, but that's still like from like the 2000s and maybe even
Mm-hmm.
earlier than that. So, but that was the last one. And it's interesting because as music has progressed and it became more acceptable that you can take different genres and combine together, we have artists that are trying new and unique things, but everyone's doing something that's unique in tandem with everyone else. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
there's not like a core like, oh, this is a particular style that now a number of artists are getting involved with. It is just a conglomerate, if
It
you will,
is.
of all
It's a
kinds of
hodgepodge.
different genre. Is definitely a hodgepodge, and that changes from song to song sometimes as well. And I feel that these days, it's just more accepted. And I think that the artists that are able to accomplish this, that there is their own voice and style within that, right?
Right.
So you could do a rock song, but it's still your song. But then you can have another song that maybe is folk or country, right?
Right.
That is still your style, but it's in that particular
And
genre.
it's almost like it's more accepted to do that now. Like what does King Gizzard call themselves? What's their genre? Did
Yep.
they put themselves as anything? Because like you can't, I can't. I'm gonna look that up because I don't know. But
Yeah, I don't know either. And
things like
and it's
that,
so funny because on the representative side, it drives me crazy because they're like,
I'm
"Oh, what kind of
sure.
style are they?" I'm like, oh, listen to song here, you tell me."
I'm
So
sure.
it's more like, okay, they sound like these type of artists. Like try to get them like adjacent, right? It's like, oh, they sound like this kind of combined kind of a thing. Rather than, and then maybe like, okay, like sometimes I tell artists like, you gotta pick something like for a genre. Like I don't care if it's like you gotta get close enough to like something, just because that's how music has been structured all in this entire time, right? So that still technically exists. I think that's becoming less and less the case.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have to hit that drop down and be like, all right, we're submitting it on through DistroKid or or TuneCore. We gotta pick a couple of genres here, which is like the most basic selections
They're
imaginable.
so basic. That stressed me out because I just had to do that the other day or other week or whatever. And when I hit that drop down, I was like, and Jeff was helping me because I need a body doubler like at all times. I need someone helping me with something at all times. So Jeff was helping me through it. And when I hit the drop down, I was like, dude, what is this? He was like, I don't know. I was like, I this is not I can't. This is not helping me.
And it's not, and in all fairness, not like love you, DistroKid and TuneCore. This actually has nothing to do with them. It actually has to do with the fact that that's the
For
bare
sure.
minimum
Yes, for sure.
for what they can submit to everybody else. And obviously, when you have so many other, you know, distributors that that are out there, your Spotify, your Apple Music, your Amazon Music, you have to go with the lowest common denominator for what everyone accepts across the board.
Right.
And so that's where it makes it really challenging. So I understand it's a very challenging thing. I understand why it's frustrating, but at the
It
same
was
token,
hard.
I get it. It's not their fault. It's like, this is what we kept it, like, this is what we have the base to work with. So
And it's subjective
and yeah,
too. Is that the
it's
word
so
I'm looking for?
subjective.
Because like when
Yeah.
I was gonna hit pop, I'm like, okay, it's a pop song. But then I'm like, with Britney Spears is pop. Michael Jackson. This is not Britney. This is not Michael. This is not okay. It's not pop. Then it's not like it really threw me off. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
It's really, really tough. But I feel like, and again, I think it helps you. Ironically, you mentioned about going in lanes. Gives you kind of like a lane or direction ish to go for. But then, fortunately, these days the recommendation engines, they kind of get you close proximity to the artist that you sound like,
Uh-huh.
which is more of how I find consume music. Is that if we like a particular artist, we like their particular style, and that could be the similar genre or it could be completely different genre, but we like that particular style to it. And fortunately, it starts giving you some suggestions that are related to that, which I found amazing artists because of that reason. Like I liked a particular artist and certain genres, and then also gave me recommendations to other artists that I really like now.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So is there now, it's interesting because you mentioned and by the way, I just want to say that I got unfortunately a sneak preview on I don't want to, I won't dance for you, and love the song, by the way. It's a fantastic fun
Thank
song.
you.
So besides the fact that it's, you found that this is now you're writing 80s music, was there anything else that you've now learned, after taking a pause, and also especially from teaching, that you've now brought to the table for yourself as an artist?
Oh, you ask great questions, man. You're really making me think over here. Um, I think I slowed down a little bit in terms of that, and I think it was because I took this song very seriously because it had been so long since I released anything. So I took it really seriously, and I was like, no wrong moves, no, I'm not. I am not screwing this one up. No wrong moves. I must do everything perfectly. And that's where I found Danny. I was like, I want help with like XYZ. I found Danny. I was like, oh my God, she's the perfect person to help me with XYZ. And she did in an amazing way and still continues to. I was going somewhere with that too, with Danny helping me. Um, she slowed me down too. And she really keeps me in check. I think that's what's been really valuable working with her is how, I'll be like, "No, it has to be perfect. I can't do this until," and she'll be like, "No, this is your art. Like, just put out a video. Just post on Instagram. Just post something. Just put it doesn't have to be perfect. Just post something on Instagram. Things like that, like just done. What do they say? Done is better than perfect. Is that what they say? Done is
Yeah,
better than
done is better
yeah.
than perfect. That's
Yeah,
exactly
because like
correct.
eventually you have to share your art with the world, and like if it weren't for Danny, honestly, I'd probably still be like sitting on this song, But at the same time, she's also moving it along. So like I don't know, that's probably just the ADHD like all over the place too. Like what? Oh, I just would have thrown it out there, or it'd still be sitting here on the desk. I don't know. Who knows? Like one of the two, one of the two extremes. But I've put a little more strategy towards things and allowed myself to do the artistic work behind it that's really fun. I had never considered myself a visual person. And after working on all the branding stuff, the visual stuff is really fun and it gets your brain moving in other ways. And like, I put on lipstick. I never put on lipstick. You like my lipstick?
Yes,
Like,
very much so.
because it's part of the colors we put together. And I found lipstick that was the color of the thing on my, it's fun. It's just a lot of fun.
That's great, and it should be fun. And that's I
Mm-hmm.
think that's the part too, right? Is that you are thinking about these things. It's because that is what makes an artist is that you are thinking about all the elements, not just one. You're thinking about it's not just it's more than just the music. It's about your appearance, the
Yeah.
visual aspects of it, your engagement with the audience if it's a live performance, right? The performance itself is a part of your art,
Yeah.
and it's all those paying attention to those details that makes all the difference in the world. If you think about all the successful artists, they're the ones that are pay the most attention to detail because they know that it matters and that those are the things that you don't even realize that you're thinking about, but that detail is making you think about
Right.
it.
And those details make it so much more, I don't know, the details are really fun and back before I took my break, those details and that thinking caused me a lot of stress because I was always questioning it like is this the right decision? Am I wearing the right thing? Am I doing is this right? Does this look right? I never ever knew. And so I was always questioning things. So after doing this whole like branding workshop with her, I don't question anymore. I'm like, how about this color? Heck yeah, that color. How about this one? Oh, yeah, that jacket. Definitely that. And you know what? Maybe things are just falling into my lap easier now. Maybe something has cleared out. But for example, my mom's bomber jacket from the 80s with the sequins on it, it's in some of the videos. But that appeared right before my photo shoot in Cincinnati and she was like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure." I was like, "Where is that bomber jacket?" She's like, "I think it's upstairs." I'm like, "No. No way." And she's like, "Yeah, it's upstairs." And sure enough, there it was. I'm like, "Can I take it to the shoot?" And she's like, "Yeah, you can have it." I like started crying. I'm like, "I can't take this." And she's like, "It's yours, Jaclyn. It's time." So now I've got this 80s bomber jacket with sequins on it. And it just,
Wow.
who knew I needed it until I really needed it. I just needed that jacket.
But again, you put it out, you not you you asked for it, right? You were like, hey, I now remembering all these things that are around from my past, right? From what is around me that I can use
Yeah.
to express myself and what I want to do with it. And I think and it's interesting, right? Is there's an interesting balance act between the paying attention to details and releasing something, right? Because the question it comes down to, well, then if I constantly pay attention to details, again, that comes down to where's that case of perfectionism coming in, right? In
Yeah.
comparison to where it's complete and being sent. I think for everyone that's going to be different, but it's one of those things where I feel that paying attention to details, it's about paying attention than anything else. It maybe not it being mean actually executing on implementing those details. It's the point of your thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
But there has to be a certain point where you go, okay, there's a point of no return where more details is not going to help. It's may make things worse or take longer, and you just need to send it out. I know for myself, I personally, when any creative project, I like to have some sort of runway. Like, okay, I have enough at least completed that I feel confident in releasing this and proud of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I also know it's not never going to be perfect, or it's like, okay, it's good. It's good to where I'm proud of it and confident of it, and then I can improve as I go.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And sometimes it can be hard to let go of those perfections, you know. It can be hard, but at least with this song that I'm so excited about and so proud of, the things that weren't perfect, I was like, yeah, well, you know what? I can deal with it now. Maybe that's a matured. Maybe I've matured. Maybe I don't know. But you want to hear something funny? I actually screwed up an entire lyric in the recording, and instead of going
Oh,
back,
really?
yeah, oh, totally, it's oh yeah, just it's one word, but it's kind of a big deal. I forget which. I can't think right now because I can't think of two things at once and talk. But yeah, there's a lot I can do and talk at the same time. That's what I can't. But the lyric I screwed up, the vocal performance that came out in that recording, I loved so much. I was like, screw it. Just keep it. Just keep it. So I'll perform it with I don't know. Maybe I should figure that out. But yeah, totally screwed up a lyric.
But think about it. Like, how many songs can you think of that I can't think of any? No, don't put me on the fence here. I don't remember any on the top of my head. But I do know, like, there are so many artists that they mispronounce the word, but the way that they said it was more important than the word itself.
Uh-huh.
And it was the emotion or the performance behind it. And even if they mispronounced a word or said a different word or whatever the case is, the performance of what truly matters at the end of the day. Yes, lyrics are also important too, but it's also about the feeling behind them and
Yeah.
how you perform it in those recordings.
Yep. For sure. Yeah. And that's been a big journey with recording again too, learning all that again. Like it is a performance, even though this is just audio. It's yeah, the importance of all that is very fascinating, isn't it? Isn't it?
It really is. It really is. All right, we can start wrapping things up here. I realized in our pre-interview, I didn't tell you this, but I have some fun questions for you. But I didn't want to tell them. Those I don't tell any of my guests, and they all know this. I do not tell these questions ahead of time to for these fun questions.
Okay.
So, first fun question for you is: what was the very first concert that you ever went to?
Um. Okay. I think it might have been Whitney Houston when I was very very little. I think it
Oh,
might have been.
that's
And
good.
I'm on a Whitney kick right now.
Wow,
But the one I remember the most, uh, it was New Kids on the Block,
nice.
and we had to leave because it was too loud because I was really little and I freaked out and I felt bad about that because my dad was like being a good dad and taking me to New Kids on the Block. But I saw them 2 summers
Oh,
ago, so we're good. We're good.
awesome, nice. Do you have? I know you mentioned there are a couple of artists that you're listening to right now, but is there any other artists that you want to do a shout out for? Any go-to artists that you're listening to at the moment?
Go to artist. I told you I'm like on a big heart kick.
Yep.
I'm on a huge Whitney kick because the movie was on a few months ago, so I got on a Whitney kick. Favorite artist? I mean, Fiona Apple basically like made me. Um, she's a big
That's a
one.
good one.
Yeah. Michael Jackson's my favorite, and gotta bring that up because, like, you know, the movie came out, and my algorithm is all Michael right now, which I think it just knows, like, oh, this is what she'll pay attention to, obviously. So Michael and Janet, of course, and all my 80s.
Have you seen the biopic yet? I have not. I still need to
I
see it.
didn't. I need to. I've heard mixed reviews. I've heard it's beautiful, like visually beautiful, and like they did all the things, and Jafar did all the things. But the fans, like the crazy fans, are like, oh, we kind of knew all that. Like we knew all that. We thought you were gonna give us some like insider info. So
Interesting.
yeah,
No, I'm so looking forward to
Yeah,
seeing
for
it for
sure.
sure. All right, last question for you. If you were only able to give one piece of advice, what would that one piece of advice be?
Bring your bubbles.
Yes. I might make that the podcast title because that's such good. Bring your bubbles.
You
I
know,
love it.
I'm not sure how that popped in my head, but from earlier and also all these protests I've been going to every time and all these events I go to every time, there's a certain point where I'm like, darn it, I should have brought my bubbles. And that's an ongoing thing, so that's the answer I'm going to stick with. Bring your bubbles.
I love that. I love that so much. Well, Jaclyn, thank you so much again for being on the show. I really appreciate it. This was such a blast, and again,
Yeah.
can't wait for everyone else to hear your brand new single. I Won't Dance for You. It's fantastic, and I
Thank you.
of course wish you the best of luck. But thank you so much again for being on the
Thank you.
show.
This was so much fun, Mike. I appreciate it.